Hello everyone, this is Ray once again, and today I'd like to talk about Metal Gear Rising for the Xbox 360. So, this game has had a very difficult development cycle, I should say, because it started out as a game by Kojima Productions, and it looked like it was turning out pretty well to me, but I guess Hideo Kojima had a different thought and he outright cancelled the project and handed it over to Platinum Games. He says that the the style that Kojima Productions was going for was too much of a simulation and it looked kind of slow and methodical. But thinking about it, doesn't that kind of fit in with the Metal Gear series? I'm not saying what we got is bad or anything. It's in fact I think Metal Gear Rising is a great game, but the original definitely looked head and shoulders above what we got, at least from a tech perspective. Though it's worth mentioning that Metal Gear Rising Revengeance runs at a near 60 frames per second, at least on the Xbox 360. The PlayStation 3 has a bit more of a slower frame rate, but it's still pretty solid, and I believe it has a higher visual quality on the PlayStation 3, especially the cutscenes. They're of a much higher quality thanks to the Blu-ray format. It's interesting. I went into this game expecting Devil May Cry or Bayonetta or something, but I actually ended up comparing it more to No More Heroes. Maybe it's the whole cutting mechanic, but I don't know. It definitely gives me a No More Heroes vibe, which is kind of funny because No More Heroes, the bosses at least, definitely gave me a Metal Gear Solid vibe when I originally played it. So, surprisingly, a big reason a lot of people haven't been able to get into Metal Gear Rising is because of the parry mechanic. And most of the complaints seem to come from that your normal attacks come out before your parries, since they're both assigned to the same button, but I've never had an instance when the normal attack has come out instead of a parry. You have to hit the left stick at the same time as the normal attack button while facing the direction of the enemy, and yeah, definitely something wrong with the other players, because I've been able to manage that basically 100% of the time. Another complaint seems to stem from the overall length of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which is about 4 to 5 hours, I'd say. But I think these people are missing the point. If you've ever played Devil May Cry before, you know that the overall length of those games is really short, but what keeps you coming back over and over is the higher difficulty levels that offer a greater challenge, and playing through these difficulties will reward you with unlockables that will make it easier on you, basically. And Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is very much the same. It's even got its own equivalent of the Devil Trigger, though I don't want to spoil exactly what it's called. I remember when Metal Gear Rising Revengeance was first revealed, a lot of Metal Gear fans, such as myself, well, I'm a Metal Gear fan, but this was never a really big problem to me. But anyways, many Metal Gear fans were worried that the game might be a little bit too over the top after seeing Raiden throw a Metal Gear Ray through the air by its blade. The blade itself was very over the top, since Metal Gear Rays have never had blades before. But I don't think the whole throwing him in the air, or throwing it in the air I should say, was so out of the ordinary for Raiden if you've played Metal Gear Solid 4. In Metal Gear Solid 4, he took on, I believe, about 4 geckos all by himself, and he used his foot to actually attack with his sword, which I'd say is pretty over the top, as well as that he also stopped a gigantic battleship from crashing into land with his body alone. And he also took on a group of, god damn it, the Beauty and the Beast's core soldiers, I believe. He took on a group of them with no arms. So yeah, definitely not out of the ordinary for Raiden. One complaint I do have as a Metal Gear fan, I'm not sure if I'm just not remembering correctly what happened at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, but Raiden bleeds red for some reason in Metal Gear Rising. And if you look back at Metal Gear Solid 4, he bled white as well as every other cyborg. And that was actually a reference itself to Police Knots, the Tokugawa Corporation, which created artificial blood in Police Knots. They created this white blood, so yeah, it's definitely disappointing to see that. And if you look at the original trailer for Metal Gear Rising, the cyborg that Raiden takes out actually bleeds white, so the original Metal Gear Rising definitely did have the white blood intact. Anyway, yeah, I'm really enjoying Metal Gear Rising. Right now I'm tackling the VR missions, which are quite a pain in the ass. But yeah, I definitely recommend Metal Gear Rising if you're a Metal Gear fan or not. Thank you for listening, and remember, well, there's always the Master System.